Hi, welcome back to Get Started with IBM Streams. In this video, I'll be introducing you to Lab 2, Understanding the Flow of Data. This is the second lab out of 4 you'll have to complete in this course. So to start, let's add the directory scan and throttle operators to our main composite. The directory scan operator should be located under spl.adapter. And the throttle operator should be located under spl.utility. Make sure you drag and drop the throttle operator onto the stream between observations and filtered. Now let's connect our directory scan and our observations. And let's click the layout and fit to content buttons to reorganize our graph. Now all the observations data has to be processed by the throttle operator before it gets sent to the filtered operator. Okay, so now we need to define the schema for our directory scan operator. So now let's select our directory scan's output stream and edit its schema properties. The directory scan will output file paths in an attribute called file. And this should be of type rstring. Remember that you can use content assist with control space. And let's type in rstring and enter. While we're at it, let's rename the stream to files in the general section of the properties. Now we need to specify what directory to actually monitor for files. So let's select our directory scan operator, and in its parameter section, there's a directory parameter, and the value should be the directory that we want to monitor. So let's give it a value of /home/streamsadmin/data. This is the same directory our all.cars file was located in. So it'll read that file, but it'll also read other files that you add to this directory. Now let's blank out its alias so that it takes on the name of its output stream. So let's go back to the general section and empty out its value. Now since we're not reading from a specific file anymore, let's go into our file sources parameters and let's remove its file parameter by clicking remove. So last but not least, let's edit the throttle section of our app. First, let's rename the output stream of our throttle operator to throttle. Next, let's blank out the throttle operator's alias. You should know what this does by now. Lastly, go into its parameter section and give its rate parameter a value of 40.0. This parameter takes a floating point number as a value. Now this operator will effectively make our app output at most 40 tuples a second, making it a lot easier to examine the contents of our data in real time. Let's save our changes. We should get no errors. Now let's take a look at our instance graph for a moment by going to Streams Explorer, looking for our instance, right-clicking it, and showing instance graph. You should have read about the different layout options in the do-it-yourself section. Okay, so now let's launch our app by right-clicking on the main composite, going to launch, and selecting the second option. You might need to click apply if you've switched workspaces. I'm just going to click launch. Okay, so now let's look at our instance graph again. Leave everything in the layers to its default. What we want to focus on is the color schemes, which assigns colors to operators based on their properties. Let's check the flow under 100 color scheme. And I'm actually going to skip ahead 45 seconds. Okay, so 45 seconds or so has passed, and we now see that most of our operators are black. In fact, all of them are. This means that there's no data flowing through them. Likely because 45 seconds is about the amount of time Streams takes to fully read our all.cars file. Now the way the directory scan works is, if you modify the files it's monitoring, for example renaming the file with a new timestamp, it'll consider that a new file and read from it. The lab files package that we installed earlier actually comes with a script to automatically rename this file every 45 seconds. This should effectively make our data flow endlessly. So let's run that script. There should be a file on the desktop named infinite source. Let's run it by double-clicking it. If you see this message, it's currently running. So let's go back to our Stream Studio and look at our instance graph again. As you can see, the colors have changed. They're not all black anymore. If you kept your old composite that didn't have the directory scan operator, it should still remain black. That's because it wasn't designed to read from multiple files. Now let's check out the end final punks submitted color scheme, which should be located right here. A final punctuation marker is a message generated by an operator to indicate that a stream will no longer carry any new tuples. Since our data is endless now, our directory scan operator never gets this marker, and this means that its downstream operators should never get this marker either. If you still have your first job running, the one without the directory scan operator, we really don't need it anymore, so you have three options. You can simply collapse the job to reduce clutter with this icon here, except for your older job. You can apply a filter to show only the graphs you want. The filter button is up here. And you can select your most recent job and just click OK. Or you can cancel the job by right-clicking on the old job and just selecting Cancel Job and clicking Yes. Lastly, I want to show you a way of viewing your stream data without requiring you to output it to a file sync. You simply right-click on a stream on your instance graph. For example, I'll right-click on the filtered stream and select Show Data and select OK. As you can see, our data is being filtered to only include IDs equaling C101 and C133. So that's about it for this lab. I'll be seeing you in the next video where I'll be introducing you to lab 3.